You'd like to be seated. I'll try and put it in John's words, that final paragraph. Thunder in the desert, prepare for God's arrival. Make the road smooth and straight. Every ditch will be filled in, every bump smoothed out, the detours straightened out, the ruts paved over. Everyone will be there. The parade of God's salvation. Huzzah! 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 Can't say it. Well, you missed it on, what day was it? Wednesday, I can't remember. The highlight of the Christmas season, the vicar actually doing a rap. Oh. Yeah, you missed it. Chris Dingle.
Put it on YouTube.
Well, I hesitate to say Ed Sheeran has got nothing to worry about. Neither does Kanye West and the rest of them. But I tried my best, and they seem to enter into it as well, didn't they? And 4 of the teachers, I think, actually saw Jesus for the first time as well. Right in front of their eyes. He just appeared to them. I'm not kidding. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just stood there and I said to them, have you seen Jesus now? And they said, yes. Every one of them. So you missed out on it. I'm sorry about that, folks. So today's Gospel reading has some big words in it, and I thank Paul for his wonderful reading. And just to remind you of these names, Tiberius. And again, we have a baptism this afternoon, but I noticed that there's no Tiberius in the names. He was the emperor, as Paul has reminded us, and he was, he'd make the Terminator look like a pussycat, really. Then there was Pontius Pilate. Again, we don't hear that Christian name, do we? Pontius. No. He was the governor, but he didn't like being in Israel, and he just wanted to go back home to Rome, have an easy life. Then there was Herod. Well, we know about Herod, and we'll find out a bit more about Herod. And everybody tried to stay away from him because he was a complete fruit and nutcase. Then there was Lysanias, Annas, and Caiaphas. And Caiaphas was complete opposite to our current Archbishop of Canterbury. Caiaphas had a lot of power. Our current Archbishop doesn't appear to have a great deal of power. Some of these men liked people to be afraid of them. They could be considered bullies, tyrants. And as we know, a bully can act tough and might threaten to hurt you if you didn't do what they wanted you to do. So the kings and governors kept the people afraid. It gave them a sense of being powerful, and they could make the whole country afraid of them. But John came along. God sent a man named John to the obviously scared people in Israel. He told them that God was about to do a new thing, a very, very happy thing. That God was going to send someone special, very special to the people. John told the people that Jesus would come, that Jesus would do some really, really wonderful things, but they have to get ready first. So just how do you get ready when somebody important comes to visit you? Perhaps what you do if the Queen decides to come to Laughton and decides to pop into your house. The Prime Minister even, though whether he'd come to Laughton or Morthen is a different matter, but Prime Minister, our very own Paul Marshall, a very important person. What would you do if he knocked on your door and said, can I have a cup of tea? Pardon?
Give him
Give him one, right? Give him one, you mean a cup of tea or something else? Well, if it's my house, I've spent a lot of time trying to clean the house up, really, from dog hairs and get my dirty kit out of the way and everything else like that. Anyway, John obviously didn't tell them to clean their rooms or make some fresh ground coffee. Oh, the smell of coffee. Have we got real coffee here over Christmas? Oh no, we don't serve refreshments here. We do at Morthen, you see, so sorry about that. Do we put on posh clothes over Christmas time? Yeah. Have you got is it Marks and Spencer's I've seen? They've got a Christmas jumper now saying, believe. I think. Because I've seen a number of women clerics on Twitter with these jumpers saying, believe. And I think they've credited Marks and Spencer's with it. So that might not be a bad thing. Yeah. Jesus or John told them that they had to change some of the things that the people were doing, like being selfish, not caring about poor people, about being grumpy, about sending pompous tweets and the rest, and about having Christmas parties when everybody else has been told not to have a Christmas party last Christmas, but no names, but you know who I mean. John said that in order to be ready for somebody special like Jesus, they had to show that they were going to be better people. They had to think hard about the things that they had been doing. So God sent John to tell the people to get ready before God did the new thing in sending Jesus. So the choice is with all of us, even at this time when we're faced with, another variant, whether it's worse or not as bad as what is being made out, we don't know just yet. But it is affecting the way that we do things, as we can see from people wearing masks. Chris Dingle, all the adults were wearing masks. But as Paul mentioned at the beginning, the directive from the Church of England is basically do what the government says, which is basically masks are voluntary. If you're in a crowded area, then it'd be wise to wear a mask. But God presents us with a different kind of choice. Do we want to walk His way? Do we want to hear His truth? Do we want to accept that His life, eternal life, has meaning for me and for you? Or is it going to be business as usual once we've left this service with the same old, same old? God promised that He would send His Son to save the world. And that all we have to do is respond to that and believe in Him. And if we do believe in Him, then we would have that eternal life. So the birth of Christ addresses our need for that kind of salvation, for a new way. And if we're really, really honest with ourselves, our heart aches for God. We all want somebody to love. There's a big push at the moment on mental well-being during COVID. And that's because people find it difficult to talk and to share. We all want somebody to love, even though we try and fill our lives with everything else. But everything else seems to be taking away from us. There's even gaps now appearing in supermarkets again. The price of petrol is stopping people from going around seeing their friends and their relatives because it's extortionately high. Even though the price of the crude oil has dropped something like about $10 to $20, the price at the pump still is nearly record levels of $1.50 for a litre. And so we try and fill our lives with everything else, whether it's food, whether it's alcohol, whether it's parties, whether it's this, that, or the other. But somebody reminds us that when the truth is found to be lies, and all the joy within you dies, don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? And you better find somebody to love. Now, that wasn't written in the first lockdown, the second lockdown, or the third lockdown, or whatever. That was written in 1967. The Beatles remind us that all we need is love. Love is all you need. Again, in 1967. Find me somebody to love. Can anybody find me somebody to love? Find me somebody to love. Freddie Mercury, 1976, who was desperate to find somebody to love, to talk to be with. And here we have it. Every year, clerics all over the country will say the same thing, that Jesus is the good news, that he can change everything in your heart, even if much doesn't appear to change in the world. However, the change has to start with each one of us. And if we say yes to that change, if we dare open that door to our heart, then we will find that following Jesus is the best and only way to live. It won't be easy. On occasion it will be hard, because life's circumstances will dictate that it will be hard. Today is the anniversary of Maggie's death, 1 year. So I'm still here, I'm still struggling. Life isn't any better. It's different. But there is one constant, and that is Jesus. That following Jesus is the best and only way to live. So the challenge in this Advent season is, why not try Jesus? Find that love that you're looking for, but find more: mercy, empathy, compassion, and hope. Amen.